What's going on, YouTube? Claic Yuzolt back again, and I bet you thought I was dead because Gumi hates releasing the news early, but hey, let's get into it. Alright guys, so the banner this week has finally been revealed, and we're looking at Ignacio, Suzume, PNK2, and then Wayhem. This is going to be an 11k step up with increases to Ignacio at the 1st, 3rd, and 5th spot. So we're going to be pulling, I know I said I wasn't pulling very often on banners, but 11ks are fine with me. It's not too much lapis, and it's a lot of fun. Now for you guys, is this banner worth it? Well, let's get into it, starting with Wayhem. So Wayhem, amazing looking sprite, love it. Little net runner here, elite engineer. We're going to give down support, apparently is what it the role is. And we look at the TMR brush up. That's going to be attack 20% and limit burst damage 1.1 times multiplier added to it. I think this TM's pretty good. For people out there looking to do like LB up builds, you know, our options were CG Jake or CG Jake's TMR or STMR, excuse me, and then also Squall's STMR. So looking at this, I think it makes it a lot easier for you guys to get a hold of that if you want to put your LB damage up. Now, I'm not exactly sure if the, you know, trade-off between what another material would be or this would be more damage. You're going to have to go to the damage calculator. But being a 3-star going up to 5-star base TMR, I think it's pretty good for people out there who don't have a lot of those high-end TMRs. I think it's decent. Moving on down, let's look at the abilities we get here. We can mitigate magic or physical damage to one target for 15%. We can increase magic damage against machines or physical damage against machines by 30%. Good, could be somewhat useful when it comes to one-turn KO strategies, but probably not. Then we have the ability to where we can increase defense 60% to one ally or increase attack, and then we get guard hack and attack hack unlocked. So we look down, we can increase everything by 80%, or sorry, that's 60% defense and spirit. Then we get this ability where we can do 80%. Okay, let's look at this LB. I'm not even going over that. You see what it does, right? Like, you can boost certain stats by 60% and then everything by 80%. Inflict Berserk to one ally. Increase. Yeah, okay, so this guy's not very good. Sadly, it falls into the case again where FFBE makes these amazing-looking units, but they're not that great. This guy could have been a 5-star unit, in my opinion. Look how awesome he is. Ryuka, I'm looking at you, too. All right, guys, next up, we have PNK2. This is going to be a 4 to 6-star robot debuffer. Going to be a debuffer, all right? Looking at the TMR, we have PNK2 booster. We get attack 35, magic 35. Maybe okay for a, you know, that's actually okay stats, honestly, for a TMR. I'm down with that. Auto limit. We get increased limit burst gauge 1 per turn. You know, maybe on a hybrid unit, you want to spam their LB. I mean, attack 35, magic 35. If you have the space and you're not, you know, you don't have Desh's earrings, or I guess you're not building true double hand, perhaps this is the way you want to go. If you're going true dual wield, maybe you slap this bad boy on there. I don't know what you have, but they're high stats, so when you're building up, maybe that'll help. Plus the auto limit's pretty good as well. It really depends on what you already have if you want to be farming this guy up. And then feed him to the TMR Moogle Coin Master. Looking on down what this guy can do, looks like he can do a lot of Inflict Silence, Inflict Petrify, Fire damage, Lightning damage, Charm, Sleep, Ice damage, Blind, Stop, and then decrease, so he can break Defense and Spirit by 50%. Everything else seems more or less in the realm of maybe you want to take him in the arena, but I don't really think so. Because, I don't know, maybe you do, but people put ribbons and stuff on their people in the arena at this point. You can do all status elements by 50% if you unlock this ability, which all-out missiles, you gotta use this LB to do. Physical damage 8.4 times to all enemies. Okay, multiplier. Enable skill for 2 turns to caster. PNK2 missile stockpile, inflict stop 30%. So I guess the stop, you know, ribbons aren't stopping stop. But at the same time, like, that's really the only use I see. PvE content, not really seeing a lot coming out of PNK2. Very cool looking sprite as well. I like that. But again, maybe in the arena for the stop cast, the charm cast, stuff like that. But other than that, you're going to overlook this guy. All right, next up we have another 4-star base going up to 6-star on the banner in Suzume. Physical attacker, looks awesome. I mean, look at these units. Sorry, I'm scrolling down a little bit too far for you guys. Great looking unit as well. What in the world, man? Make these units really good. Or save for 5-star base banners. I don't care. They're badass. We do get Suzume's Kimono, attack 21, defense 26, self-taught swords play. That's pretty high attack. Increase attack 20% with a katana. Now, we're getting a high attack stat on a cloth, plus 20% when you have a katana on. I think this is a really great TMR. I don't see anything wrong with it. Sorry for hitting the mic there if it made a big noise. I don't see anything problem with it. Now, again, a lot of these TMRs are going to depend on if you have a lot of STMRs, what TMRs you have for your attackers. But again, when Axstar comes out, katanas are going to be pretty big. Maybe you want to use this if you can, depending on what you have in your arsenal, okay? But this is, you know, high attack on a chest piece, plus 20% on that with a katana. I like that a lot. Moving on down, we get Blade Blitz, nice. Barrage, haven't seen that in a while. Ring of Death, 75 to 1 enemy. Then what it looks like, we have physical damage with continued physical damage every turn. Finger Snap, Fireworks, let's see, physical damage 1.8 with a critical hit to 1 enemy. Negate 5 physical, taking 1 turn to caster. Physical damage 2.5, so a 5 times finisher unit. This unit also looks like ass. Okay, so it looks like you finish, like, the best ability that Suzume has is this physical damage 5 times multiplier finisher move. So again, I don't think you're bringing it in. Like, this is a finisher unit. Let's see if there's anything in the, maybe in the different abilities. See, you counter Brink of Death, instant KO to 1 target, sorry. 75% to 1 enemy, that's not going to be anything. Physical damage 5 times 1 enemy, not very good. Instant KO 89%, or physical damage 6.9 times to all enemies. It's a 1-hit. What in the world? I feel like they were like, dude, we got to put Ignacio on the banner. And then they were like, the development team's like, whatever, these units suck. Nobody cares about them. Let's make Ignacio cool. And then the art people were like, we will make very good units for you. We're making very good units for you. Why did you make them so shitty? So kudos to the art people on this banner. But the development team, these are lackluster units. What's going on, dudes? Alright guys, so we've talked about the other units, but we gotta talk about the 5-star base on the banner. Can it save the banner and support damage dealing Ignacio? So Ignacio is CG Ignacio, essentially the CG version of the unarmored Veritas of the Flame. And as you can see, they did a great job on his sprite. He looks beefy, he looks tough, he looks strong, has a big giant axe, manly man. Pretty good, right? So it's going to be, again, attacker support unit. Looking on down as a TMR, we have Hero's Vow Fire. Increase attack 30% when equipped with an axe. Then you get 50% true double hand. And then we also increase LB gauge fill rate by 50%. This is great if you're going to have an axe on. So it's going to be great on this unit, Ignacio. And if you get your hands on this STMR, it's going to be a great for any unit you're going to throw this STMR on. Now, this is going to be attack 170, has the fire element already added onto it, and it's a two-handed weapon, meaning it's a two-handed axe. The damage range on that is 110% to 190%. Going to be great. Again, you get that damage, two-handed damage weapon modifier at the end of your damage there. Also has the fire element already attached to it with a large attack stat boosted on, okay? So, anybody out there who is looking maybe to build up their LB, do a big LB damage, anybody can put axes on. You know, you're going to want to put these two together if you get lucky enough to get it and start swinging to town, baby. Having an element already attached to a two-handed weapon is going to be great. Now, there are going to be more of these coming out in FFBE as time goes on. Our first one that came from Valkyrie Profile was really looked after, had the thunder or lightning element attached to it. This is going to be a fire one, so fire is very popular. If you get your hands on this, you're going to love it, as long as your unit can put an axe on, and it's going to be great. So, I definitely recommend getting this STMR if you end up getting double Ignacio, okay? Or, sorry, 2 7-star Ignacio. Next up, we're going to look at his abilities. Does this make him strong enough to pull for, okay? What can he do? So he's going to do a little bit of damage and termination stamp and remove all status effects from the enemy. So he has the ability to dispel the opponent, take everything off of him in this move. Very good. Full steam ahead. He can put his attack up by 100%. He does have suction stamp. Now, any ability that has stamp or forge on it, we're going to be able to double cast those. Or, if we have another ability active, even triple cast them. So be aware of that. And this is going to give him some HP and MP back, which is going to be great. Again, talking about the imbue, we have Forge Weapon Flame. It's going to add fire element to somebody for 3 turns. You have to pick one person and put their LB up by 5. So, Ignacio is going to be more used for somebody in a team comp where you really want to spread fire around. We have a Fire in Peril in his kit. We are going to do fire damage with him. And then you want to put your LB up because he's very good at putting LB up. So that's why you're going to want to use Ignacio in your team comp, along with him bringing a lot of damage as a finisher while doing other things. So you can kind of fit him in there as a finisher support unit like we've talked about, damage dealer. Whereas normally maybe you couldn't fit the finisher in because of other reasons. The problem I see with Ignacio before we keep going on with his abilities is that the support he brings really isn't that high. And we'll get into that in a minute, okay? So his next ability, Forge Armor, increase fire resist by 100% for 3 turns to 1 ally, and increase LB gauge 5 to 1 ally. So again, he can double cast this, put it on 2 units if you would like. It's also putting their LB gauge up, which is going to be great. We have Burst Stamp. which is going to be doing, okay damage. This isn't going to be our go-to stamp move, but if we don't have the other one available, yes, we would be going for this because it is more damage than his critical stamp down here. I think that's only 5 times, right? So we will be going for this when it's not, and also it is putting up his LB by 3, and we can double cast this, and if we have an ability active, we can triple cast it. So we can start building his LB up because we're going to need it, 1, to cast his amazing LB, or 2, to use these 2 abilities, Forge Weapon Flame Blast or Forge Armor Flame Blast. You can see that it costs LB over here. The Forge Weapon one, it puts up your attack and magic, so increasing weapon stats by 120% for 5 turns to all allies. So it's not the highest buff in the world that we've seen, but at the same time, if for 5 turns, it's good enough. Chance to add fire elements to physical attacks, only 50% to all allies, so it's a coin flip. You could get lucky and cast this ability and put it on everybody instead of having to dual cast his other Forge Weapon Flame ability. It's up to you if you want to cast this. You are going to want that attack and magic buff, but it's kind of tough when we're dealing with LB crystal cost. That's going to be up to you if you want to save up and use his LB or spend it on this. The other ability he has, it's called Forge Armor Flame Blast. Defense and Spirit, so it's the alternate version. You're going to put up your Defense and Spirit and increase your fire resist to everybody by 100%. So the other ability, you can cast, single target a couple of times. Does 100% fire resist to them, but this one right here is going to do it to everybody. This is your way of putting up everybody's fire resist in a time when you really need to put that up. So that's another reason why you may want to take Ignacio on your team instead of somebody else, is because he has access to a 100% fire buff, which is going to be great there. He has Call for the Strong, increase attack 250% for 3 turns to a caster. So he's going to increase his attack, you couldn't believe it, and then increases his chance of being targeted by 100%. So he could also honestly become maybe a tank. If you build him tanky enough, he could be a tank damage dealing support unit. He does have 100% provoke. Now, he could also be an evade tank. So he could provide all of these different support techniques while also being single target 100% evade tank for you. So that's something you can look at too with using him, building him up the best you can with evade items. That's another option you have with Ignacio. Moving on down, we have Crush Stamp, which is going to be doing 5 times. It looks like 5 times multiplier and decreasing fire resist by 75%. This can be turn 1 cast if you would like. That way he can also imperil. So again, if you're dealing with fire, Ignacio's your dude, all right? Because he's going to be able to imperil that and imbue on your other units if need be. We have double stamp. Use stamp skills twice in a turn. Don't triple stamp a double stamp. You're going to get in trouble. Twofold forge. Use forge skills or forging friendships, which is going to be a cooldown ability twice in 1 turn. So all the abilities, you can't go all nimbly bimbly. You got to use stamp skills twice in a turn, forge skills, or forging friendships twice in a turn, all right? There's an ability down here that's going to let us triple strike, which is going to be great. We'll look at that in a minute. He has critical stamp here, physical damage 5 times with critical hits on 1 enemy. Again, that can be cast with this double stamp ability if you'd like, but this is 5 times. You don't even have to worry about the crit, and you get 75%, and MP costs a little bit less. I mean, this is the ability I would go for. Looking at his 2 cooldown abilities, he has one that he has available on turn 2, and then you can cast it every other turn. So this is going to be a 10.5 times multiplier, increases his own LB by 10, and then also is going to be able to add fire element to his own physical attacks. I'm not sure if we just heard a follow or what. We just heard a noise. Unsure what that was, so sorry about that video. Hopefully it wasn't too loud. So he's going to be able to add fire elements to his own attacks, put his LB up, like I said, and do a big finishing ability. And it's a stamp ability, so you're going to be able to double cast that with your other stamp abilities. I do believe you're going to be casting this on cooldown, as long as you're not required to be casting any other, any other type of... What am I trying to say here? Support ability, okay? Because this is going to be his big damage dealing ability besides his LB, all right? And this is going to help him get his LB up as quickly as possible. Next up, we have Forging Friendships, which can be dual cast with a Forge skill, okay? Available turn 1, 4-turn cooldown, you count the turn that it's on. Increase LB gauge fill rate 200% for 3 turns to all allies. Increase LB gauge 10 to all allies. So again, he does have the ability to be putting up everybody's LB rate and their LB up, with this ability, with the other abilities that are putting it up by 5 each if you cast a single target on them. So on turn 1, you could be like Forging Friendships. You could put on maybe double, because we'll look, once you have his TMR equipped, he is going to be able to triple cast, so that's what we're going to be doing. Maybe you go up and you put Weapon Flame on somebody and put Weapon Flame on somebody else. Maybe on Ignacio himself and your chainer, and then hopefully your friend chainer already has Fire Element, etc., etc. Those are things you can do, all right? Let's look on down to what he gets as passives. He gets an auto heal here, and then increases his defense and spirit. He gets MP up, he gets attack up, he gets defense up, Increased fire resist 50% when equipped with an axe. We are going to want to put an axe on him simply because he also has a 50% attack up when equipped with an axe. So we're trying to throw an axe in his hand to make him do as much damage as possible because, again, he is a finisher on top of all of his support things. Increased HP 20%, resist to blind, paralyze, and petrify. We do need confuse resist on him, and if you want to be super technical, we need sleep resist on him just to be safe of all those nasty status elements. He's almost there, though. He really needs confuse and sleep sometimes. Increase HP 30%. Increase, this is what I was talking about. Increase attack 50% with an axe. Recover MP 5% per turn. Increase attack, HP, and MP by 20%. And then here is his TMR ability. If you have his TMR on, which is going to give you 50% true double hand, and then it's going to give you the attack when an axe is equipped, right? We get another 100% true double hand. So when you have this unit, you're going to have 150% true double hand already on you. So you only need to put 150% on him until they increase the cap of true double hand. That's so you hit that 300% sweet spot with true double hand and make him do as much damage as possible. He also gets strike while the iron is hot. Strike while the iron is hot. Use Ignacio's skills 3 times in 1 turn, except for full steam ahead and call for the strong. If we look what full steam ahead is and call for the strong, full steam ahead just increases attack by 100%. And then Call for the Strong is his provoke ability. So you can triple cast any of the other abilities in any way you want when you have this ability popped, except for those 2 abilities, which is going to be a great start for you guys to be able to get out there, get everything going that you need to, and be popping off like you'd like. Next up, we have Stalwart Soldier. Increase modifiers 2.2, wow, to Burst Stamp, Critical Stamp, and Crush Stamp. So those multipliers are going up even more, getting closer to that, I think, around 10 times sweet spot. We want it more than that, obviously, to do more damage, but I think if you're around the 10 times, you're very usable as a finisher. So that's getting us really close there, especially when we can double cast it or even triple time cast it. Autocast Full Steam Ahead at the start of battle. So again, Full Steam Ahead is going to increase his attack by 100%. So he's going to automatically, at the beginning of the battle, his attack's already going up by 100% when you start out, which is great. Increase defense 20%, and then we have his last one is attack and HP going up by 30%. What? I saw the 100% here. And increase LB gauge fill rate by 100%. So those are all of his passives. Pretty great. Again, you want his TMR on him, and you want to be building up his LB. That's why it's good to have this LB fill rate up, because one, you can cast his 2 abilities that cost LB crystals, or you can go ahead and cast this amazing LB, if we look at it down here. This is if it's maxed out at 7-star, right? Only costs 27. That's pretty low. Okay, this is going to be just like the chaining that we have on Hyo, Sora, Jacked, all of them, where it's back-loaded chaining finishing, right? So it's like do, boom, big hit at the end. And it's going to have fire physical damage already added to it. So as long as you get that Imperil in, you cast this. You can chain with any Divine Ruination character out there. It's not going to be double cast, so it's only going to cast the first time, right? So it's only going to chain, with the first hit of Divine Ruination. But it's still going to be Big Daddy damage, right? So Divine Ruination, it's going to do fire physical damage 7.9 times with ignore defense 50%. That's going to put us up to a 14 points. What is that? Is that a 14 point? No, that is an 18.8. 18.8 multi. Why am I saying 18? 15.8 multiplier. Man, I do math really good. I should get those little numbers and put them in front of my face. Jeez Louise, that's probably still wrong. Fire physical damage 3.45 times to all enemies. So that's the last hit. That's going to be the big damage that's going to go through. So that's pretty much Ignacio in a nutshell. I'm going to talk about him again. Where would I want to use Ignacio? When would I want to use this support Ignacio? When would I like to use him? Essentially, anytime, again, fire is involved. If you want to be fire chaining with your team, Ignacio is going to be pretty cool for imbuing and helping you do tons more damage. Now, the things that he is lacking in a support role, I think he has a support role to the side. I think he's more of a damage enabler, right? Although he does have LB fill rate up, which is great. He has 100% fire resist, and he has the ability to buff if you sacrifice his LB crystals, right? If you sacrifice, being able to use his LB. He's more there to enable you to do a lot of damage with fire and then also do damage himself, which I think is great. I think he's a great unit, a support unit. He's going to be very useful in some trials that come up. He's going to increase your damage quite a bit if you end up using non-elemental two-handed weapons and then imbue with him and then imperil with him. He does all that stuff great. However, if you're trying to compare Ignacio, in my opinion, to someone like CG Nickel and Zargaboth, it's not even close to me. I would not even put them on the same kind of support. I would put like CG Nickel and Zargaboth way up here, and then Ignacio is kind of like a fun little unit down here that can push a lot of damage, can help your team do a lot more damage, but he's not really a support role. I think you would honestly need him, and then you would also need a unit like CG Nickel and then and then Zargaboth on the same team, essentially to do everything you need to do, because you need MP recovery, you need damage mitigation. His buffs are really hard to get going. I mean, they're not really hard, but they're a little bit different to get going because you do have to spend his LB. Although his first ability does give him 10 LB crystals, so that's going to be good to help you out there. So overall, Ignacio, cool unit, but I think very, very, very skippable. Alright guys, so there's the banner review. I'm sorry that it has been no videos. Again, I don't know what's going on with Gumi. Honestly, I have contacted anybody I can to try to get to tell Gumi that they're killing their own game. Gumi and Square Enix, you cannot release the news so late. I mean, that's how we build the hype up. That's how we enjoy our game. We like to wake up on Tuesday, check the news. Oh, Ignacio, who's that? I don't know. Ooh, step up banner. Oh, we get Item World. We get a story event with the UOC. And then we wait till Wednesday, Thursday, a lot of us to see the data mining, and we get to learn what Ignacio gets or what the global buffs may be. And that's all building up to the hype on Friday where we get to pull, celebrate, have fun, and do the new event. We're missing out on a lot of trials. I know I'm going off. I'll tell you about the banner in a minute. But, like, this is just my rant here, dudes. What the fuck are you guys doing? You're killing your own game. Total interaction on YouTube has been down. Every YouTuber is down on views, depending on what kind of video they're doing. Twitch views are down. People are just not engaging in the game. That's because Gumi has somehow either fallen behind. Gumi and Square Enix have fallen behind on what they need to get done, so they have to wait till the very end to put out the news, or they made this as a subtle change to try to maybe make more money by hiding what the banner is going to be, so hopefully maybe you spend more on these limited time banners before revealing what's coming out on Friday. Either way, it's a piss poor job in my opinion. You're killing your own game. You're killing the hype around your own game. People are getting bored. You need new trials. You need maybe a new game mode, even more different than JP. I know JP just got the 3 and 4 star base, but we may need that sooner. Implement that sooner for us. Game's in a pretty rough state right now. Obviously, it can turn around real quick, but pretty rough state. Anyway, guys, as far as the Ignacio banner is, super skip. I think we're getting 3, 4, and 5 star Trust Moogles if you guys summon on it. I'm going to be doing the 11k just because I love 11ks. I almost do all of them. Not that much lapis for me as a spender, and they're super fun, and maybe I'll get that STMR, you know, screw around with it. But for everybody else, super skippable. You can try to get that 3 to 4 star base LB damage up a materia if that's something you're interested in, but not something I would say. I would say honestly skip this and move on to something else. All right, guys, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what you would like to see change in FFBE. If you felt the news change mess with you, I need you guys to put a hell yeah in the comments section. It doesn't matter what you write, just give me a hell yeah and let me know if that really bothered you with the news change, and then subscribe for future content. We'll catch you guys in the next video.